Good morning, Tehmina Khan is here. In this video, I will explain to you the sketching of trigonometric function. It is a syllabus of CAIE O-Level Add Maths. Here you can see the blog address of my blog. I have put up the links of all my videos I have made so far on this blog, so you can refer it. Sketching of trigonometric function I have already explained individually in my videos, but here I am taking some different type of question which I have not covered before, and they are usually asked in the past paper in the Cambridge examination. So let's see this sketch, for example, because we need to understand few terms here. So I have drawn here the sketch of sine graph basically, and the maximum point and this line, because the height above it and height below it exactly same, so this line is called axis of the curve, and this distance from axis of the curve to maximum or axis of the curve to minimum is called amplitude, right? And if you look at this, this is called one complete cycle. After that it is repeated. This side also it is repeated. So this is called one cycle, and one cycle period is 360 for sine. So cycle period for sine, cos and tan we will see in a while. Okay, second thing is, so now you know what is period, what is axis of the curve, what is amplitude. Now we will look at it when it is given in the trigonometric function. So if the function is given to you, for example, a sine bx plus c, what is the meaning of these symbols a, b, c? The number here represents the amplitude, that how far you will be above this line, up or down. And this number here represent this horizontal line here, which is called axis of the curve. And this b helps you to find out the period. For example, in this case, the period of the cycle is 0 to 360, right? So if you divide for sine graph 360 divided by this number, you get the period within which the cycle is completed. So we will see it in a while. Same goes for cos. By the way, this ABC is not standard here, right? You can use any letter. So it could be B cos AX plus C. It could be C cos AX plus B. So do not think that amplitude is always represented by A, and axis of the curve is always represented by C, and period you always find out with the help of B. It could be any letter. You need to understand what is multiplying with this. Angle is multiplying by a number, and number is adding along, right? So let's see now. Okay, so let's see the basic curve of sine, cos and tan, and then we will pick up question from past papers, right? Okay, so sine y is equals to sine x. If there is nothing, it means it is 1. If there is nothing, it means it is plus 0, and this is 1 here. So amplitude is 1, cycle period 360 divided by 1 is 360, and axis of the curve is 0. So that's why the sine graph is like this, right? So we can say the amplitude is 1, axis of the curve is 0, and cycle period is 360. Let's see cos x. Y is equals to cos x. Again, the cycle period is 360. The detail of each of these graphs I have already explained in my videos. You can find on my blog the link of a sketch of sine, cos, tan. So I'm just recalling here so that I can explain the past paper questions. So again, for cos graph, cos sketch, the period is 360. Axis of the curve 0 is 0 in this case. Amplitude is 1, and the maximum point 1 is at 0 and 360 degree. Can you notice at 0 it is 1 and at 360 it is 1. So minimum point it has 180. So you have to remember these basic characteristics, that the curve passes through axis of the curve at 90 degree and 270 degree. Maximum point is at 0 and 360, and minimum at 110. Whereas in sine, the maximum was at 90, minimum 270, and the axis of the curve, at the axis of the curve was passing through 0, 180 and 360. Now let's look at the tan graph. The cycle period of tan graph is 180 degree. Okay, it has no maximum and minimum because it keeps going up and up and up. If you put tan 90 in the calculator, you get error. So it means this line is called an asymptote. Let me write here. Okay, so this vertical line towards which the graph is trying to approach, it is asymptote. So if you put tan 90.0001, you get a very big negative answer. Anyway, coming back to sketch, so there is no maximum minimum, and this is the sketch, and cycle period is 0 to 180. After this, the graph repeat itself. Okay, so now let's see the modulus, and then we will see the past paper questions. Okay, so now if the function is y is equals to modulus sine x, then how you will draw it? Basically, forget the modulus sign for the time being. Suppose it is y is equals to sine x, and complete the sketch the way you have done. And then part of the curve which is below the x-axis, I'm not using the word axis of the curve, I'm using the word x-axis. So reflect in the x-axis. So this part will come here. So this part was below x-axis, so it will come here. So this is the sketch. So the maximum is 1, minimum is 0, and the range is 0 to 360. Let's see the past paper question. I hope it will make more sense then. I've picked up a question from November 18 and variant 1.1 question 4. So this is the equation given to you, ABC. Question is giving you the following information, that period is pi by 3, amplitude is 4, curve is passing through this point, and find out the value of ABC. So now if I just rearrange this curve, so I'm just writing A afterward, that's all. So I told you this represents amplitude, and in the question it is given that amplitude is 4. So B equals to 4. I got the amplitude. Okay, so this number helps you to find the period. So period is given to you pi by 3. So period is equals to 360 divided by C. So I will write pi by 3 is equals to 360 divided by C. So this will help me to get that C is equals to 6. Now I have to find out A. I know B, I know C. Now remember the curve is passing through this point. So these are x coordinate of the equation and this is y coordinate. So now I will plug in x coordinate, y coordinate and B and C. So only thing will be left is A. It will be easy to calculate then. Okay, so I am substituting the values here. B, C, Y and X, right? And A I have to calculate. So after substituting all these values, this is my X value I'm putting here, Y value I'm putting here, B I calculated, C I calculated. So now I'm just simply simplifying it. Okay, so I'm cancelling this because they are angle. It will become pi over 2. And then sine pi by 2 is 1. Remember pi by 2 is 90 degree and sine 90 is 1. So it gives me that A is minus 2. So I got my A, B and C. This was the question, right? Let's see the other question. Using your values of A, B and C, sketch the graph of this. So we have just found the values of A, B, C and now we will sketch the graph. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so what information we have after plugging in the value of ABC, that the curve will have axis of the curve at minus 2. So from minus 2 the highest point will be 4 above and 4 below because 4 is amplitude, and then 6 means in 360 degree I will have 6 cycles, right? So what the period will be, 360 divided by 6 is 60 or pi by 3. So it means I will have one complete cycle in pi by 3. Okay, so let's see how we will draw this. See here, I have drawn x and y axis here. this is minus 2 axis of the curve, right? And 4 unit above minus 2 is 2, 4 unit below minus 2 is minus 6, right? My one complete cycle is in 60 degree, right? So if you see from here till here it is 60. Now how I have drawn this, you might be thinking this, right? And I have drawn it till pi because the requirement of the question was draw the sketch from 0 to pi. Question was saying draw it from 0 to pi. So question doesn't want it to draw till 2 pi, which is 360 degree. I know from here, I just told you that actually the cycle period of sine graph is 360. This number is giving me hint that within 360 mean 2 pi, right? That within 360 I will have 6 complete cycles. But I have to sketch till pi only, which means 180 degree. So common sense that it will be half of 6, so it will be 3 cycles. One cycle will be completed in 60 degree or pi by 3. Let's see, this is the question. So I am dividing this line into 60, 120 and pi, right? So from here till here it is 60 degree, which is pi by 3. From here till here it is 120 degree, which is 2 pi by 3. And from till here another 60, it means it is pi. Now we know that to complete the sketch, we need 4 intervals in one cycle. If you see here, one interval from here till here, then from here till here, then from here till minimum, and then this. So what I'm doing, I'm dividing 60 degree or pi by 3 into 4 parts. Can you notice? This portion, this portion, this portion. It is not necessary to label it, but yes, you can. What is the half of 60? 30. So this is pi by 6. So if you want to write here, you can. And we know from the basic sine graph that it starts from axis of the curve, maximum, axis of the curve, minimum, axis of the curve. So exactly the same thing I'm doing here. After drawing this thing and marking these points, because amplitude I know is 4. So what I'm doing, after dividing these intervals of 4 units, I am doing axis, maximum, axis, minimum, axis, maximum, axis, minimum. So this is how I have marked all the points and then I have joined it. Did you get it? If not, I'm repeating once again. After drawing this horizontal line minus 2 as axis of the curve, and then I have divided this into 3 equal parts, 60, 120 and pi. Why 60? Because I know one cycle will be completed in 60 degree, which is pi by 3. And then for each cycle I need to divide this portion into 4 equal parts, right? So because for one cycle you need 4 equal parts. I have just explained to you. So similarly I have divided all this into 4 equal parts. And then how did I started marking? Sine graph is started from axis of the curve at 0 degree, right? Axis, then maximum, next interval, axis, then next interval minimum, next interval axis, then next. So I've already marked these 4 equal portion between this, and between this. And then I'm just marking axis, maximum, axis, minimum, axis, maximum, like this. And then I have completed this sketch, right? So let's see the next question. Okay. The next question I have taken from June 18 and it is variant 1-2 and question 1. In this question, it is given that y is equals to 1 plus tan 3x. And you have to state the period of this. We know that the tan has cycle period 180. So what is the mistake here? Can anybody tell me? Yes, I should write here what? 180. So it should be 180 divided by 3. So it will be 60 degree, right? So it means one cycle period will be completed in 60 degree. Okay, so now, and this also gives you clear hint that within 0 to 180 you will have how many cycles? 3 cycles, right? And one cycle will be completed in 60 degree. Okay, so now let's see here. If I just rearrange, this is giving me axis of the curve, yes or no? If I just rewrite it, it is actually tan 3x plus 1, right? And because there is no maximum and minimum in the sine graph, we don't need to worry about it. Okay, so I have drawn x-axis and I have drawn y-axis. And this line at 1 is telling me it is axis of the curve. And I have divided my line axis of the curve into how many portions? 3 portions. I have to sketch the curve for 0 to 180 degree. So I am dividing 180 into 3 portions, from 0 to 60, 60 to 120, 120 to 180. So you can visualize the basic tan graph, which says go from 0 to up for the towards asymptote, and then from 180 to down. So if you have divided this interval into 0 to 60, so half of 60 is 30. So you will have asymptote at 30. So if you check, you will get 1 plus tan 330 here will give you asymptote, it will give you error. So now this is how you will complete the sketch. Can you notice this thing? I have divided this interval into 2. So each cycle will be divided into 2 equal portions. 0 to 30, 30 to 60, 60 to 90, 90 to 120. So one cycle period will be completed like this. Okay. So now this is the sketch of the graph. Now let's see the last question of past paper, which is from June 1721. And one thing for the tan graph or sine or cos, when you will go to the blog address I have given, I have explained in more detail the sketching of sine, cos and tan. Okay, so now the next question from June 17, this is the equation given to you, and question is saying find the period of y, okay, and find the amplitude. So you can see from here the amplitude is 7, okay, fine. And for period, what you will do, the basic cycle of cos has a period of 360. So 360 divided by 10 is giving you 36. It means if you sketch this graph between 0 to 360, you will have 10 complete cycles, and each cycle will be completed in 36 degree. Okay, so with this I would say thank you very much for watching the videos. This video, I hope it is making some sense to you. If you have any particular question, you can write in the comments, and if there is any particular question you want me to explain, so please do mention it there. Take care. Bye bye.